Hello everyone and welcome back to another video from the Automotive Rate. We're at the 2023 edition of the Cars at Expo event, and in this video I'm going to show you some of the highlights here. The Alfa Romeo Stelvio Veloce is a fairly underrated luxury mid-size SUV here in Singapore.
But what I want to find out is if this is better than the other European rivals. The Stelvio was first released in 2017 and sold as a mid-size SUV. Riding on the Fiat Chrysler Automobile's Georgia platform, this car shares the underpinnings with the Giulia, Jeep Grand Cherokee and Maserati Grecale. Three engine choices will be available: a 2-litre turbo, a 2.9-litre twin turbo, and a 2.2-litre turbo diesel. For our local market, the Giulia and Stelvio are only available with the 2-litre engine at the time of filming. Powering this car is the turbocharged 2-litre 16-valve inline 4-cylinder engine, producing 276 brake horsepower and 400 Nm of torque. Packed with all-wheel drive and an 8-speed torque converter automatic transmission, this car accelerates from 0 to 100 km/h in 5.7 seconds onto a top speed of 230 km/h. This is actually the same 2-litre unit found in the Giulia, Campus, Wrangler, Wrangler 4xe, Grand Cherokee, Grand Cherokee 4xe, Grecale, Ghibli and Levante mild hybrid, as well as the Dodge Hornet and Alfa Romeo Tonale. Fuel economy is rated at 14.3 km/L, which is fairly reasonable, not too bad. Suspension setup consists of independent double wishbones up front and independent multi-link out back with front and rear stabilizer bars. Moving to exterior design, the facelifted model adds a more aggressive look with the 3C-shaped LED daytime running lights, and front and center will be the iconic triangular front grille with satin aluminum surround. To the side profile, the sporty looks continue with the black accents along the side and the 20-inch silver round 5-spoke alloy wheels, which actually looks good on the Alfa Romeo product. Round back of the car, the rear looks very elegant. The LED taillights looks very distinctive and sporty, while the rear diffuser in gloss black and dual exhaust tips adds a nice sporty look to the rear end of this car. If you were to open the tailgate, which I can't right now because it's locked, you get a pretty decent 525-litre cargo space, which isn't class leading but is sufficient for a whole family. Entering the rear seats of this car, the interior is very well finished. Some nice features include a fold-down center armrest with 2 cup holders and rear aircon vents. Entering the front cabin of this car, interior build quality is definitely on par with other European rivals. The cabin has a very sporty layout, and that continues with the integration of the 8.8-inch touchscreen infotainment system that is compatible with wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The system is also very intuitive and easy to use. All the way to the bottom will be a lid that can be opened to reveal a storage area, 2 cup holders and some charging ports, as well as a wireless charger. The center console definitely has a sportier ethos with the traditional looking gear lever, and beside that will be the vehicle dynamics control, and behind that will be audio control. The steering wheel design looks great. All of the controls are well integrated and the engine start stop button is there as well. The really big column mounted pedal shifters is something you don't normally see in an SUV like this. Overall interior build quality up front is wonderful. It feels just as good as the German rivals in terms of build quality, and I actually prefer the layout of this car's interior. Not to mention the Harman Kardon Premium 14-speaker sound system, which is nice. On the whole, I would recommend this car over some of the key competitors. However, reliability is something that Alfa Romeo isn't really known for, and because of that, it's not one of the best in the segment. With that said, it's not bad either. The design and overall layout is incredible, with the only drawback being the rather questionable reliability. The Jeep Grand Cherokee has been an iconic American mid-size SUV made since 1993, known as the ZJ Grand Cherokee, that was sold until 1998. Then the WJ Grand Cherokee was unveiled at 1999 and sold till 2004. The WK series Jeep Grand Cherokee was sold from 2005 to 2009, and the WK2, which was the 4th generation model, made its way to the 2020 model year. Some special models include the SRT with the 6.4-litre Hemi V8 and the Trackhawk with 707 brake horsepower and 875 Nm of torque from the 6.2-litre supercharged Hemi V8 and debuted as the fastest SUV. However, all that ended in 2021 when the WL Grand Cherokee made its debut, dropping the Trackhawk and SRT models due to poorer exhaust emissions and stricter regulations. In my opinion, the older models looked a lot better with the boxier exterior design and had an evolutionary look. The new one definitely doesn't look bad, but I just prefer the look of the older models. In fact, I think this Grand Cherokee is better looking than its main rivals, the Mercedes-Benz GLE, BMW X5, Volvo XC90, Lexus RX 350h and the Audi Q8. This is a very competitive segment, and there are some models from manufacturers that we don't get here, such as the Lincoln Nautilus and Aviator, the Cadillac XT6, GMC Acadia, and the less premium SUVs like the Chevy Equinox and Traverse, the Ford Edge and Explorer, as well as the Buick Envision and Enclave. For this current Grand Cherokee, there are also some trims that we don't get. For instance, the ones with the 3.6-litre Pentastar V6, the 5.7-litre Hemi V8, as well as the 2-litre plug-in hybrid models aren't for sale in Singapore. The longer wheelbase Grand Cherokee is set to arrive later this year, although that was actually revealed before the shorter wheelbase model. I think this car is just awesome. It's very underrated here in Singapore but has an interior that's just as premium as the German rivals and something that's actually exotic and rare. With that said, let's take a closer look at this car.
Powering this car is the turbocharged dual overhead cam, 2-litre direct injected 16-valve inline 4-cylinder engine that makes 268 brake horsepower and 400 Nm of torque. Paired with a selectable 4-wheel drive system and an 8-speed top-flight top-converter automatic gearbox, this car accelerates from 0 to 100 km per hour in 8.2 seconds onto a top speed of 210 km per hour. Fuel economy is rated at 10.3 km per litre, which is slightly lower than its key competitors, but is still reasonable considering the size of this car.
Suspension set consists of front and rear independent multi-link suspension with anti-roll bars. Moving to exterior design, I really like the look of this car. There are some really bold body lines along the hood, sleek looking LED headlights with LED daytime running lights and turn signals. And moving down below, there will be LED fog lights that come standard along with a little bit of honeycomb design as well as a chrome strip at the bottom of the bumper, adding a very classy look to the front fascia of this car. Front and center will be the iconic 7-slot grille representing all 7 continents. Down below, there will be more of that honeycomb design which I personally do not mind. To the side profile, I love the boxy look of this car. There will be some plastic claddings on the wheel arches but not an extensive amount. Also, there will be Grand Cherokee badging on the front door panels, dual-tone roof standard on this particular car with the gloss black on the mirror caps, and body-coloured door handles. The chrome window surrounds continue the classic look to the side, and we also have that striking body lines along the side. Standard for this car will be these 20-inch dual-tone alloy wheels with a very simple 5-spoke design. The gloss black in the spokes adds a nice attention to detail on the wheel of this car. Round back of this car, there will be a little spoiler mounted on the top of the rear tailgate. And just like the front, the rear has some really sleek looking LED taillights with turn signals. To the center, there will be gloss black trim and some badging on the tailgate. All the way to the bottom, there will be some light reflectors and a chrome strip giving the rear an elegant look. What I think could have been done better was the matte black plastic to the bottom of the bumper. Perhaps it might look better if it was painted in body color.
Open the rear tailgate and get 1067 litres of cargo space, and that can be expanded to 2004 litres after you knock down the rear
In fact,
seats.
it's a lot more than the Lexus RX 350h with 612 litres and the Mercedes GLE with 825 litres, which is still very big. Other than that, there are some hooks to the side. Entering the rear seats of this car is very comfortable back here. The legroom back here is very incredible and the headroom is also more than sufficient. It's a very cozy space to be in, especially with the panoramic sunroof, making the interior feel very airy. Other nice features at the back include a fold-down center armrest on the center seat and rear climate control. Also, the rear seats are finished in Napa leather and the cushioning is very comfortable. Not only that, the door panel is also very well finished with leather trimmings and the Alpine premium sound system. Moving to the front cabin of this car, it feels just as luxurious with leather trimmings on the door panel again, but this time with some wood trim integrated as well, further enhancing that luxurious feel. On the passenger dashboard, everything is finished in soft touch materials and some wood trim above the glove box. Up top, there will be lighting and all the sunroof controls. Your standard infotainment system is a 10.1-inch touchscreen infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity. As mentioned, the Alpine premium sound system with 9 speakers and a subwoofer will come standard. Above that will be the aircon vents and controls for the vehicle safety systems. Below that will be the aircon controls, and all the way to the bottom will be a lid that covers the storage area along with a couple of charging ports. For this 5th generation Grand Cherokee, the gear selector is this knob that you twist right to select drive and left to select park, with neutral and reverse between them. A few drive modes will be available: sand and mud, snow, auto and sport. Behind the gear selectors, you have 2 cup holders finished in gloss black surrounds, and the center armrest has a decently nice padding to it. Open that and you get plenty of space in it. Everything seems very luxurious from the passenger side, so let's take a look from the driver's side. Alright, coming in from the driver's side, you have a 10-inch heads-up display for this new generation model. The standard driver's display will be digital with a 10.25-inch screen, so there's a lot of customization there. A multifunctional steering wheel with white contrast stitching adds a nice attention to detail to the interior, and the pedal shifters behind the steering wheel gives you better control over your car. To the right of the steering column, you have your lighting controls as well as the electronic parking brake. Driving position is really fantastic. I like the high driving position and it does improve the front visibility. However, the rear visibility isn't the best, but considering the size of this car, maneuverability isn't the first thing that comes to mind. Overall interior build quality up front is premium and luxurious. Advanced driver assistance features include front pre-collision warning, adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, lane keep assist, blind spot monitor with rear cross traffic alert, emergency brake assist and a 360-degree view camera. Then there are some off-road features such as select terrain system, quadra track 4-wheel drive system, 4-wheel traction control, front axle disconnect, and conventional differential rear axle are some useful features if you plan to go off-roading in this car. This is a serious contender in the premium mid-size SUV segment with pretty superb build quality and plenty of power. To sum up the 5th generation Jeep Grand Cherokee, I think this is an awesome car for someone looking for a luxurious and premium SUV, but don't want the usual European made models because they are too common, at least here in Singapore, then this is something you should consider. Not only that, this car's price is actually cheaper than the European rivals despite having an interior that is just as well built and something that's rare and different. The Jeep Wrangler is a proper off-roader with the first released Jeep dating back to World War II, and that was a 4-wheel drive vehicle used by the US military. Over the years, a more civilian model was made, so I will explain the overview on that, as the older military models are just too rare and the chance of someone ever owning one is very low. The older models were generally known as the CJ, while the newer, more civilian models were made from 1986 till present. Sold as a 2-door compact SUV or a 4-door mid-size SUV, the first civilian model was sold as a 2-door SUV or a 2-door convertible SUV from 1986 to 1995, and that was known as the YJ generation. Following subsequently was the TJ model, sold as a 2-door SUV or a 2-door convertible SUV yet again. Made from 1996 to 2006, the TJ model was the last one to be sold as a 2-door only, as the JK model came with either a 2-door and a convertible version, as well as a 4-door with a convertible version. The JL Wrangler sold from 2017 to present is again available with the 2-door or 4-door with the convertible versions available. As mentioned, there aren't many visual changes between the two models, so if you know, you know. It is also noteworthy that this car is available with a few different engine choices. The one we get is the 2-litre turbo 4-cylinder. Although there's an eco-diesel 2.2-litre turbo diesel, a 3.6-litre Pentastar V6, the insane yet incredible Rubicon 392 which had a 6.4-litre Hemi V8 that makes 470 brake horsepower and 640 Nm of torque. Not to forget the 4xe or 4xe version, which is a plug-in hybrid version of the JL Wrangler. This particular one has the 2-litre unit, so let's take a closer look at it. Powering this car is the turbocharged 2-litre 16-valve 4-cylinder engine producing 268 brake horsepower and 400 Nm of torque.
Paired with a selectable all-wheel drive system and an 8-speed torque converter automatic gearbox, this car accelerates from 0 to 100 km per hour in 7.3 seconds onto a top speed of 199
Fuel economy
km
is rated at 11.6 km per litre, which isn't the best, but that's not why you buy a car like this. Suspension setup consists of front and rear rigid axles along with heavy-duty suspension, gas shocks, anti-roll bar and stabilizer bar. It has an approach angle of 41.8 degrees, a departure angle of 36.1 degrees, and a breakover angle of 21 degrees. Moving to exterior design up front, the front fascia is very iconic with the round LED headlights and the 7-slot front grille. Up top, there are some vents on the hood as well as some body lines. The clips on the side of the hood is actually how you're supposed to open the hood. And over here, you can see that the turn signal is actually on the fenders instead of the headlight. Unpainted front bumpers come standard with LED fog lights, adding a rugged look to the front. To the side profile, there will be some badging to the side. Black mirror caps, door handles and window surrounds also come standard, and there will be a little side step to the bottom. 18-inch dual-tone alloy wheels come standard with a very simple 5-spoke design and a black trim in the spokes. The black portion on the roof can be removed for an open-air experience, presumably when you're out for an adventure. Round back of this car, a full-size spare tyre comes standard with the third brake light mounted on it. The taillights are simple but good looking with LED turn signals. Moving below, the rear bumper is also unpainted along with rear fog lights, again adding a rugged look. To open the tailgate, it actually opens sideways as the full-size spare tyre is in the way. There's a release on the passenger side that you pull, and the tailgate swings to the right side. The glass panel can then be opened upwards like you normally do. That's a rather interesting way to open the tailgate. Anyways, you get 897 litres of cargo space, which can be expanded to 2050 litres after knocking down the rear seats, which is very amazing. The cargo area also has a very useful boxy shape, allowing taller items to be loaded in. Entering the rear seats of this car, it is fairly nice back here. Materials used might be on the basic side, but it has to hold up well because it is an off-roader. As for legroom, it is reasonable but there is plenty of headroom. The seat cushioning feels nice and comfortable. And just like the 2-door variant, the 4-door model allows you to remove the roof, giving you that open-air experience when you're out having an adventure or off-roading. Entering the front cabin of this car, the door panel is fairly well finished. There is some glossy plastic trim on the passenger dashboard and the grab handle, again adding that rugged look to the interior. Open the glove box and the space is decently big. The standard infotainment system will be the 8.4-inch Uconnect 4 system with wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Below that will be your aircon and audio controls, and below that will be your window controls, as the door panels can be removed just like the roof of this car, so the window controls can't be integrated there. All the way to the bottom will be a small storage area, and this car has 2 gear levels. One for controlling your gears, so drive, neutral, reverse and park, and a nice attention to detail is the little Jeep CJ that can be seen at the top of the very well finished gear lever with aluminum trim and contrast stitching on the gear lever boot. Your second gear lever controls the selectable 4-wheel drive system with different modes such as 2 high, 4 high auto, 4 high part-time and 4 low. Behind that will be your mechanical lever handbrake, and beside that will be 2 cup holders. Open the lid and the storage under the center armrest is decently big. Everything seems great from the passenger side, so let's take a look from the driver's side. Alright, coming in from the driver's side, you are sitting very high up, which then improves the visibility. Overall interior build quality up front could be better considering the price of this car, although it's quite obvious that this is made with some off-road intentions, so the materials used in some areas might feel cheaper. Some nice off-road features includes brake throttle override, electronic roll mitigation, transfer case and fuel tank skid plate shield, trail sway dampening, 3.21 rear axle and select track full-time 4-wheel drive system. All in all, the Jeep Wrangler Sahara 4-door is a very good car for someone who wants the off-road capability but is unwilling to pay the price for a Land Rover Defender or a Mercedes G-Class. This can be just as good off-road with the interior build quality being the trade-in for the lower price. However, there is also the Suzuki Jimny, which is an even more affordable off-roader, but that is a little too small for daily use. With that, I'll wrap up the walk-around tour of some of the SUVs from Alfa Romeo and Jeep. Thanks for watching.